Welcome back to this channel, because today we are going to now move over here to talk about the LSM SC-800, which I'm assuming SC stands for spring compressor. I needed a spring compressor, and actually I didn't need one, but I wanted a better one. I've got this old C-clamp style here. And while that works really well, that's an old one, by the way. That's like, we're talking like 50s and 60s old. That one there, it's well used. I've had that one for a lot of years. I don't even remember how I ended up with that thing, but I'm pretty sure it was a hand-me-down from some guy from the 50s and 60s that used to do, cylinder head work and that kind of shit. By the way, you probably see that one for sale at some point here, maybe. Just because I plan to swap over to the LSM products on everything I do. And by the way, LSM does make a C-clamp style spring compressor that's all aluminum, etc. You go to their website, Summit Racing, Jegs, I don't care who you go to, you can find them real easy. But this is the one that I wanted to use, not necessarily because this is more versatile, meaning if I want to take and remove the valve springs while the heads are on the engine, of course, that would also depend on a lot of other things, like where your brake booster is located, and if you've got an upper lower intake manifold, all that kind of shit. But for the most part, you should be able to remove your valve springs on your cylinder heads with this thing, as long as, of course, you have you have studs. You have rocker studs. If you don't have rocker studs, this is not going to work for you. Okay? So let's just get started here and open it up. So the SC-800, spring compressor 800. Now remember, I'm doing this with one hand, so I do apologize. It's going to be a little difficult compared to if I had two hands. Alright, there we go. So this is what you're going to find when you open the box. There it is. Check it out. Go to Facebook, Instagram, blah, blah, blah. Tech tips, promos, cool tools, all that kind of stuff. I don't really think that they're going to give me any kind of promo that's going to motivate me. I mean, I'm basically coming here because they have an awesome product. So if they want to give me promos, I guess. But most of the time I'm buying my stuff through either eBay or Summit Racing or something like that. Here's the instructions, okay? And right away, it'll tell you that if you want to do something for 3/8 studs, you're going to have this adapter right here. I have a video on this, by the way. I know, it seems useless to have a video on just this thing, but I do have a video for it. But it is a SC-801, so spring compressor, I'm assuming, 801 part number. This adapts this to fit onto 3/8 studs, okay? So now, let's take a look at this thing, alright? And again, I have experience with LSM because of their spring machine here. Mine's rated to 600 PSI. I think they make a 400, and I think they make a 1200, if I'm not mistaken. But, dude, this thing, this aluminum, is just beautiful. It is beautifully manufactured, and it works great. So, I highly recommend it. I have a video on that, by the way. Go check it out. Alright, so you got a little bit of nice foam packing here. Look at this. This is what it is right there. And when you look at it, I mean, it's well built, well designed actually. This thing is girthy and it's heavy. Aluminum finish, it's just beautiful. I mean, like, do they even have to do this? Like, do they have to, like, router that right there? I mean, I don't think they do, but they do it anyway, and then they anodize all this or whatever. And so this design right here, I don't even see why you would do that, but they do it, and it makes it look awesome. Just awesome. I don't even see why you need to do it, but they did, and it's just an awesome thing. So this right here is designed for 7/16. So you're literally going to take this, and you're gonna on your cylinder head stud, you're just gonna slip that thing over the top of that. The cylinder head stud's gonna stick out right there, and then you're gonna take your lock or your nut, and you're gonna tighten it down to where this thing is snug and it's got it between, and it's got some pressure on it, so this thing doesn't, wobble around like that. Now, speaking of the wobbling around, if you have a 7/16 stud, you're good. If you have a 3/8 stud, you're going to need this, because if you put this over the top of that, this thing's going to wobble around, right? So you are going to take this and you're going to bush it. Now, does it go to the bottom like this, or does it go to the top like this? That I don't know. But I'm probably going to find out, because my Edelbrock heads over here have 3/8 studs. Now, of course, I'm going to convert those to 7/16. But when I disassemble those, which, by the way, I have a video on those, what you're going to get when you get an E20... What are they? They're part number 5027. And they're E205 head. That's right. So I got a video on that if you want to see, unboxing video, if you want to see what those are, what they're like when you get them out of the box. You can actually go take a look at that video too. It tells you all about it. And what I plan to do is put this on as it is right now. Disassemble that entire head, because there's, and again, go watch my video, you'll see why. But there's some flashing and stuff in there that I want to actually clean up and that kind of thing. And I was actually using this C-clamp spring compressor, gotta say it, to actually take 2 valves out, and I showed it off in that video. And I mean, I'm very experienced with that, right? Like, I've used that a lot. But I gotta tell you, a person who doesn't know what they're kind of doing, or maybe learning this, that C-clamp compressor, it's going to work. But if you do the wrong thing, it's going to get all jacked and twisted and all that kind of stuff. And you can mar up, or just a lot of things can go wrong. The spring can slip up through those, those tongs there, because these tongs right here, these tongs right there, they basically, you've got this screw here that you tighten down on it, and if you don't tighten down, those springs can pop right through there. And then on top of everything else, this thing can rock. This thing has to be centered on the valve down below, and if it's not, it can, slip and scratch your nice new aluminum head. I mean, there's just a lot of reasons why I do not like using that design anymore. So this is where I wanted to go. Now, yes, this cost me a pretty penny. By the way, I guess I should admit that I had some Summit bucks, quite a bit, $60 worth, as a matter of fact, plus free shipping, anything over $100 at Summit Racing. So technically, I got a hell of a deal on this right here, and I'm feeling very happy about it, because rather than, taking a chance of scratching my head, screwing up the valve locks, having the spring fly all over the place, even though I have successfully used that thing time and time and time again, I would much rather just be more relaxed about using this one. Okay, so let's look at it a little bit deeper here. So you've got that bushing here, which again we already talked about, and I will be using that to get that thing disassembled. And then when I go back to assembling it, I'm going to have 7/16 style rocker studs in there, so then I can just take that out, and I can now just use the tool as it is right now. Okay, so then once you get it on there, you use your lock, your poly lock, or whatever you want to call it, your nut there, to tighten it down here snug, right? And then you have these things right here that are adjustable. So you loosen these up as needed, and they pivot right here. And what that does is that allows you to get it, to where it's centered right over the top of the valve spring. I've heard, I don't know anything about this, but I've heard that in some heads it can be really close, like as in this thing goes clear out there and it's like really close to where it just doesn't quite work. I don't know if that's the truth, but I've heard that. Okay, I'm probably going to find out, but who knows? Hopefully it's not a big deal. You can see here that this is an anodized steel compressor right here. It's very nice, very, very nice, as a matter of fact, with a bearing here, a ball bearing, which of course allows this to actually, get on top of that valve spring and retainer. And then of course that's going to kind of friction lock you, so to speak, and then this bearing here, because this is actually turning this push rod, or screw rod, I guess, and it'll float on a bearing instead of being a friction rotation or whatever, right? So that's kind of how this whole thing works and how it's set up. You can use a 7/16 socket or wrench to operate this thing, which is obviously, something you're probably going to have with you at all times, and that's cheap as, cheap can get. So then basically all you need to do is just buy this right here. If you've got 7/16 studs on a typical head, just buy this. Boom, you're done, right? You're done. That's all you need. But if you've got 3/8 studs, you're going to need this. And if you want to get really fancy like I did, you can buy this right here. This is the speed handle. Happens to be the part number SH60, and I do have a separate video for that. And basically, you just take and simply slide this baby on. I got one hand here now. See, there you go. Look at that. And now I can actually screw this thing with this speed handle, and that just looks very professional. And it just fits. It works awesome. Now, let's just say you need more leverage. Well, then you put it out here like so, which, yeah, I thought for a second I wasn't going to get it with one hand. But now look at this. You got lots of leverage. Lots of leverage. So now you can spin this baby around and do your work fast and easy, which is what this baby is all about. And one of the things I'm going to say about this that would be way, way, way better than a C-clamp style is, well, first of all, you can and you should be able to do this, again, depending on all the stuff that's in the way, while the head is on the cylinder block itself, on the engine itself. But the other thing is, I think this would be super, super, super handy, and definitely the way to go when it comes to canted valve cylinder heads. So your typical, 351 Cleveland, Ford 429, 460, I believe big block Chevys are this way as well, because they typically always use a rocker stud. So you just slip it over the rocker stud, and the rocker stud will, of course, line it up perfectly as far as, lining with the valve spring. And then, of course, you've got to do your job here to get the angle right. But I think once you set it up once, you should be good. Actually, it should match to all the others, unless there's a different degree or valve angle between intake and exhaust, which I don't know if that's the case or not. I've not run into that situation, but it wouldn't be surprising if there was, but for the most part, your typical small block Chevy, small block Ford, maybe even small block Dodge, I don't know, or any head for that matter, as long as you got a rocker stud, this thing here should work amazing. And I can't wait, by the way, to actually hook it up onto those Edelbrock cylinder heads there when I take that thing apart and put it together. I can't wait to do it. I can't wait to do it, because this thing is going to be way, way, way more awesome than this old thing. And again, nothing against it. It works. I've used it for many, many years, more years than I care to admit, really. I don't know. I might keep it, maybe I won't. But actually, I've been thinking that I might sell it, let somebody else have it that might do 1 or 2 heads every once in a while. Because I do quite a few heads, actually. I don't do this for a living, so to speak, but I do it enough that I like to have the right tool for the job to keep from scratching, marring, messing up, getting crooked, all that kind of shit. And that's the reason why I went with it. Plus, again, on this one, I got a great saving. And I would be interested in the LSM C-clamp version, actually. But then my thought is that I probably will never need that as long as I got this one. Because, quite honestly, everything that I do has rocker arm studs. Now, if I were to do some sort of rocker shaft engine, like a Ford FE or something like that, yeah, you're going to need the C-clamp style. Or maybe something that can adapt to the C-clamp style. Which, by the way, I wouldn't be surprised at all that LSM has something like this that is meant for the FE rocker shaft. I'm not sure. I know they have something for the LS, which is a little bit different. They've got all kinds of them. You need to go to their website here at LSM. What do they call it? They call themselves LSM Products. They don't call themselves LSM Racing Products, at least not on their website. But go to lsmproducts.com and you will see everything that they have available. And again, this is what you're getting when you buy the SC-800. And in my opinion, 103,256 million, well worth it. If that made any sense at all, which it didn't, but I don't care. So yes, LSM is the shiznit, is the bomb. In my opinion, I am going to most certainly always resort to LSM whenever I need a tool or product that has to do with valve train or anything that they make, honestly, because their stuff is amazing. I like the color. I'm not even a red fan, but I do like that color for sure. I just love all this aluminum here, and the fact that it's made in the United States is a huge plus. So yes, 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 and yes some more, and yes again, and yes a few more times after that. So if you want something good, go get it. LSM Products, highly recommend it. Check out all my LSM review videos, and you will get to see exactly how they operate. And except for this one yet, I haven't done that. But as soon as I start taking that thing apart over there, I promise you I will make a video showing how this thing works. And you're going to love it. You're going to love it, because I tell you, it's going to work awesome. Thanks again. Like, subscribe, questions, comments, something you'd like to see that maybe I might be considering right now, but I'm just not pulling a trigger because, well, I don't really see the need, but maybe you might want to see it or whatever. Let me know. I might do it. Okay. See ya.